Yes, folks, it's Tales from the jails. I want to talk today about female prisons, my experience of interacting with the prison system as a male prison officer in female prisons, which I was only on occasion there. Once went to Holloway prison on a production, taking a prisoner from Wormwood Scrubs to visit his wife, who was incarcerated at Holloway. And when we got to Holloway, they said, "Fine, you leave the prisoner with us. We'll organise the visit. In the meantime, you come back at 2 o'clock, 2:30, and we'll have given him his lunch. You can take him back. In the meantime, if you want to go into the prison officers' club, you can do that." And it was just around the corner from Holloway prison. So myself and my colleague, Paul C., went into the prison club, Holloway Prison Club. I sat down drinking a shandy or something like that. I didn't really go much for beer in the dinner time. It kind of makes you want to pee all the time. So I just had a shandy, and I was doing the crossword on the telegraph, the cryptic crossword. Quite like that crossword. And anyway, my friend Paul, he had a couple of pies. He was a big, hefty guy. And a couple of beers as well, because he wasn't averse to drinking beer whenever he got the chance, which he did. And I'm sat down just casually with the other staff. There were other female staff around me, but I wasn't paying a great deal of attention. And one of them came and sat down, and I recognised her. She was the wife of one of the principal officers at the Scrubs. So I said, "Hello, how are you doing?" She was a principal officer at Holloway. And I had a look around the place. It was plenty staff there. Some rather smartly, immaculately dressed blonde officers, females, looked more like models than actual jailers. And they were accompanied by great big butch females who had massive great mitts, with tattoos on the back of the hands and all that, seriously. And sitting in a corner was this, what looked to me like a middle-aged man with swept back, brill-creamed black hair, a suit and tie on. And I said to this officer's wife that I knew, she was principal officer there at Holloway, said, "Who's that bloke in the corner over there? Looks a bit strange to me." She said, "That's no bloke." She said, "That's one of the governors. That's Miss somebody or other." Seriously. She was an absolute, talk about cross-dressing, she got it off to a T. She could have been a model for, what did they used to call it, C&A. She looked like that man at C&A, except she was a woman, Seriously. Anyway, I'm sat there chatting away, and all of a sudden I hear this bang, crash, bump, and a screaming. My mate Paul come running across the, he said, "We're out of here, come on." So I wasn't bothered about what bit of shandy I had left. I just picked my paper up and went with him. I said, "What's the matter, Paul?" He said, "You know that banging and clattering?" He said, "Well, I've been playing on the slot machine." He said, "And I dropped the jackpot. It was about 30, 40 quid. He said, "And as I'm putting the pounds into my pocket, this woman came up and said, 'Arthur, that's mine.' Apparently she'd been playing on the machine and had gone to the bar to get some change. And in the meantime, Paul had seen the machine empty. He'd gone on, put the money in and dropped the jackpot. So she said, 'I've been playing on that machine for over half an hour, and half of that jackpot's mine.' Paul told her to piss off. At which she didn't like, and being a rather hefty female, she took a swing at Paul and hit him, which was a big mistake, because he kind of bounced off him, and he had a big fist too. He went boosh, smacked her in the face. She fell to the floor, and that's when we got out of there, before she could jump up and chase us. Yeah, crazy. I tell you, the female staff, they're at least as mad as the jailers at Strangeways. And then I was working at, STYAL, yeah, that was a thing. And they had like a block, for recalcitrant mad inmates. And one of the women in there see me going through with I was in charge of the security detail for refurbishment of the central heating system at STYAL, and I was taking the workmen round, and we had to go into the block to change the heating system, new piping and all that. As I was in there, one of the females in one of the cells was jumping about with a great big long carbolic soap, like that. It's orange, yeah, what they used to scrub out latrines and stuff like that. Yeah, and she'd carved it into the shape of a giant dildo, and she's waving this at me, going, "What about that then?" I thought, I'm definitely not very happy with this. Also in STYAL there was Mary Bell. Now, Mary Bell was infamous for murdering this boy and burying him on a building site. She was only 10 when she did it, and then going back to the body and carving her initials into the body. She was serving a life sentence at STYAL prison. Strange thing about Mary Bell, my father had investigated her because she made a complaint about one of the staff at this remand home she was at before being transferred to STYAL, and she'd complained that one of the staff was sexually molesting her. My father, who was a detective inspector, went to investigate this, and he was telling me that is one very strange woman. He said he couldn't find anything at all to substantiate her claims, nothing. It was just like she was making it up to cause trouble. Anyway, that was a strange case of Mary Bell. That's a book. You should read that. It's quite horrifying, actually. The Strange Case of Mary Bell. I just did 2 weeks at STYAL prison, and incidents there. I saw Mary Bell, actually. She was there. She was working as a red band in the inside the walls, but tidying it up. She had like a wheelbarrow, and she was sweeping all the rubbish away and what have you. I'm not sure if they had ship parcels at STYAL, but I assumed that they would have, because they're all banged in the cells. It was a terribly depressing place. It just had a sense of absolute despair about it. STYAL prison, I definitely didn't like my time at STYAL prison. So that was my brief encounter with working in female prisons. By the way, I've written a book, and I'm sure you're going to like it. It's not the prison book. This is a comedy novel. It's called This Scandalous Life, Jasmine Barrington Brown. It's about this psychology student from Cambridge University and her sexual exploits, and how she ends up in Holloway prison and what happens to her life after that. It's a comedy erotic novel. I'll put a link down below. It's available on Kindle on Amazon. It's only $2.99, I think. I put it as cheap as I possibly could. That's the least they'll let you charge on Amazon. So it's published on Amazon. And I'll put a link below. It's called This Scandalous Life. And now it's time. I might sing to you a little bit. Roaming in the gloaming by the bonny banks of Clyde. Roaming in the gloaming with my lassie by my side. When the sun is in the west, that's the time I like the best. Oh, it's lovely roaming in the gloaming. Sir Harry Lauder used to sing that. He also sang, "Will you stop your tickling, Jock? Will you stop your tickling, Jock? Stop your tickling, tickle-ickle-ickling, stop your tickling, Jock." I mean, when you see him, it's on YouTube, have a look. Sir Harry Lauder, "Stop Your Tickling, Jock." He's an old man, about 70 at the time, talking about tickling a young woman. It's quite strange, actually. I'm going to read you a poem now, one of my poems from my book, which you've probably seen before, yeah. This is Instant Suntan. It's about, as it's that time of year, you know, when you're going on holiday, you don't want to get your kit off and your swimming trunks on and you look like a ghost of Jacob Marley, yeah? Well, this is what people used to do. They used to use instant suntan, you know, you rubbed it on and it made you look as if you were sunburnt. As you probably see, I'm not particularly sunburnt myself, and I certainly wouldn't use instant suntan, although I did in the past. I have to admit I was rather vain, but not anymore since I turned 90. Here we are. This is Instant Suntan by John G. Sutton. Deep brown, never red, that is what the label said. No harmful rays unkind to man. In a tube, instant tan. Put it on last thing at night, morning came. What a fright! One dark leg and a big white bum, streaky chest where the stuff had run, face all blotchy, near black nose, staring eyes, twinkling toes. At the pool on holiday, all the people ran away. Is it catching? Called a man. No, it's instant bloody tan. Instant Suntan by John Sutton. Don't forget to have a look at my book down below, This Scandalous Life. You can actually read the first chapter on Kindle on Amazon, and if you get through that, then it's the book for you. Most people don't, because it's extreme, but it's written in my inimitable style. Tales from the Jails.